Hello, you're watching Inside Politics. My name is Anastasia Lavrina, and today we have a very special guest. Joining me now is the President of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Warm welcome to our program.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Your Excellency, let me ask the first question about your participation at COP29. Why the result of this conference is important for your country?
Well, it's not specifically important to my country. It's important to participate in countries that have come here, including my country. A country is not an island or a country because there are other countries. Because if there were other countries, it couldn't be called a country. So we are here together, several countries that have been able to come to this summit. And I'm happy that we from Zimbabwe have been able to come and participate and share perspectives about our respective regions, sharing with experiences of other regions here in Europe.
Mr. President, I know that your country is also working on green energy transition. And there is a real perspective of cooperation with Azerbaijan. So where do you see the perspective for two countries to work in this direction?
Well, we have no choice. Nor have other countries any choice. We have to move together. The threat does not affect one single country. It's a global threat. So all countries must endeavor to cooperate and work together. And Zimbabwe is just doing that. We are cooperating with others, sharing our respective perspectives in our respective regions so that we cooperate in dealing with climate change.
Mr. President, how important is the bilateral cooperation between our two countries to create the positive connections between African and South Caucasus countries?
It is critically important that whereas perhaps in the past, people in Europe believed that Europe was the world. Those in America believed that America was the world. In Africa, thought Africa was the world. This has changed. We are now one global family, and we have to exchange and we interact. And this is why we're here.
I know that recently you had a very nice meeting with the President of Azerbaijan, His Excellency Ilham Aliyev. And at that meeting, it was highlighted that there is a real perspective for developing bilateral cooperation in many different spheres. Where exactly you see the perspective for the future partnership?
Well, between us in Southern Africa, in particular Zimbabwe and Azerbaijan, our level of development is different. As a result of that, we will benefit from the level of development this country has achieved. We don't need to invent the wheel anymore. Whatever we want, we take cue from those who have traveled the journey and bring it into our own situation, adapting what we want to our own domestic situation.
Two countries have quite well-developed, established bilateral cooperation, but also cooperation within the international organizations like the United Nations and, for example, non-aligned movement where Azerbaijan had a chairmanship. So how do you see this partnership benefiting the international community?
Well, first and foremost, as you say, also Zimbabwe belongs to the regional bloc, SADC, and then there's the AU. But beyond that, then there's the international organizations, as you mentioned, and then we cooperate and they share our perspectives in our respective regions in terms of growth, in terms of cooperation in the mining sector, in agriculture, in the issue of climate change. We share these scientific knowledge which respective regions are experiencing. So it is critically important that as heads of state we come together and they share the knowledge and the experiences which affect our respective regions.
COP29 raised very important issue, climate financing, which is very important for each country. It doesn't matter if it's developing or developed country. What are your expectations from the next 12 months to be reached by the countries after the agreement is found by the countries within COP29?
I think that we in the South have contributed less to climate change than you in the North. So I think that in the financing of this challenge, there should be much more contribution from the North than us in the South. But I am happy that leadership in the North take cognizance of that fact and they assist us in mitigating the impact of climate change.
Mr. President, thank you so much for joining our discussion today. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you. Just to remind you, watched Inside Politics. Stay with us and see you in the next edition.